7 seconds, 8 seconds. Gathering my thoughts. All right. Here we go. Oh, God. Help. I mean, when I talk like this, I do want to call on God's authority. But to proclaim it is something that I do say, like, this is just a God. I mean, I don't say this, but here it comes to try to, I'm just a guy. And do I have a call and all these things? It gets to be kind of important. But I'm going to go ahead, okay? What is that thing I could talk about? General. Well, let's do the John 3:8 to give a prayer to this. Let's look it up because again, my mind is every which way. John 3:8. We're going to be okay here, okay? We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Time can allow things to find a happy place, and setting a good direction. Setting a good direction is good. Okay, things are broken. Things are really, really broken. Okay? I'm not deciding right today. We're talking in a place that just hasn't been done in my lifetime. Or yours. But it has been done before. Julius Caesar. Different things I'm going to have to study. David. Samuel. Good leaders. Kings. John 3:8. The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. Again, the wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. And then this then is my prayer, Lord, may I be your wind here now. In Jesus' name, amen. So, I mean, things just kind of sit, and my mind was going with General Patton. You know, we're always advancing. I could look it up and find it, but, you know, don't tell me that we're holding position. We're advancing. If we're holding anything, we're grabbing the enemy by the balls, and we're going to run right through them. Okay, right, and that sits with me. So this idea of lordship, and I did honor, okay, Charles Stanley was preaching, you know, yesterday, or for me, into having courage and having faith, and trying to say that what does God want us to do, want me to do, what Him to do, how do we do this? And at some level, from the bottom of my heart here, the only reason that I would even shy back here is because I don't know, fear. I don't know. It's never been done before. But what are these reasons? When I looked at the study of the word Lord, and my thoughts are not especially polished. There, in Facebook a couple of days ago, I put down all the different ways that the word Lord, okay, was used in the Bible, and it was not bad. It was not bad. In America here, where we have our system, I think that it does. It flies in the face of the way that we do things. But I mean, even here reading about secession, the things that I'm asking for, I mean, it just, let's find it here. Why can't I find this? Hang on, we're going to find it. There it is, secession in the United States. The American Revolution, it has different categories. I mean, you can do this, look at Wikipedia, the American Revolution. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and I'm not saying I agree with all this from a Bible standpoint, but to the irony of what we, the American, the governments are instituted among men, derived their just powers from the consent of the governed. I've said it. When I pledged allegiance as a kid to the flag and under God, and that's my hang-up. That's my hang-up now at age 45. We're not under the Holy Bible. We're not under the Holy Bible God. We're just not. I was tricked. And I'm on to the game, and I'm done. I mean, I'm done. I declared Bayder Rock Independence Day to be July 3rd, so my heart is already gone. I mean, I don't mean it angry-like. I respect and have some level of just saying, that's why that John 3:8, I'm just saying the thoughts that are in mind here. I'm not angry because, from the people that I'm most upset with, the bastard pastors, the judges, the maybe just mainly the bastard pastors, they really get me upset. To read the Bible, to read it, and to just completely disregard the fundamental truths and to fit things, I think, well, it's just time. And with the internet and the evolution, I listened to John Piper talk about it, and I trusted what he said and still trust. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we need to be talking about. When Tommy Nelson talks about that with the death of Billy Graham and the Protestants don't really have a figurehead leader. The Catholic Church has a pope and these kind of things. And it's not that there aren't going to be problems or can't be problems in the idea of just deciding. But I'm telling you that I can be a king, a lowercase king. I want to have this respect for God that is true, and I am tattooed. Okay, do you have a tattoo? It's not dishonoring to say this. It's looking at a total picture here and saying something like the coronavirus. This wouldn't be happening if I was king. It would not be happening. We would have all the elements that are going to come into play if I get San Diego, if I get whatever it's going to be. I mean, I want to hang on to San Diego. Why can't we? We can certainly find some dumpy place in San Diego to have a nice time, and it's going to be fine. And even yesterday, when I was playing with the ideas of what it's like to call to trust, we're going to be in San Diego. I mean, I'm not asking us, where's that place in Russia? What do you, Siberia? Like, we're not going to, that's not where the call is. This is going to be fine. I mean, I think have you heard sermons where it says, let go? I can't think of the illustration, but I was thinking about it when I was walking my car, that these ideas that pastors, I mean, I guess they were bastard pastors too, but they still have an element. So just want to, maybe pastors are trying over the years to get some things out there. Like, what do you think about this? To have faith and to let go, to let go. And then you're like, this is, okay. I was hanging on to the things of this world, the money, the relationships, and whatever it might be. And I've just experienced what it's like to lose all of that. So, I mean, I know I'm in a different place, I guess. But what's the call here? Discipleship and all these things. But then to actually do it. I mean, I give testimony to this, that I'm enjoying my life, submitted to God 100%. And when I think about this, okay, well, I'm telling people to give all, but then it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But in the face of what we hang on to, not we, because I'm done, okay, but we're still here working things out. I'm upset with John Piper. He did that article, because they even talked about it in the thing I was listening to when I was walking back from the free internet at the police station to my apartment. The position paper on divorce and remarriage. And people took something, this one lady anyway, took this serious. 1986, I think he wrote this, or 1987. And then what did that imply? And then this is what I've been saying too when I heard it, but then to hear it from good, this is what we need to be talking about. And the fact that we don't have a central Protestant king, okay, causes problems. Because John Piper says the God's honest truth and nobody really listens. Okay, and so then we have Joyce Meyer and all these problems that stem because we have a Christian free-for-all. We have a Christian free-for-all. Okay, so then that means that we have to have a king, okay, that can set this straight, that we can have discussions, that we can take a thing like this and say, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is how we're going to operate. And to press the issues. That's what interests me too. Like when we really decide to do this, I mean, what are my hang-ups? I've definitely got a huge, fundamental Christian hang-up with divorce and custody. I got a fundamental hang-up with homosexuality. I'm imagining that there's going to be more. There's a lot here. I'm not obviously ready to give the whole thing, but I want to be on record to say, I'm still on record, continue to say, and then what this means to be, it's awkward for me. I'm so used to being beta. Okay, nice, accommodating, and whatever comes with this. But for me to own, that's where this advancing is in my side, to be called Lord. And what that means, I mean, even in a relationship now, is this what you want to be called? Well, in actuality, not quite. Like, there's another dynamic here that I cannot talk to because I made an agreement that I wouldn't talk. Okay. But it's not, I'm going to be a good king. I'm going to be a good king. Watch God work through me. I mean, how much more plain can I say it? It means something, and I can't say that I'm not even going to try to have every single detail worked out. We're going to take one day at a time. I could imagine things like that could really happen, that we'll get allowed to have a little place, like somebody will just sit around and say, okay, the Catholics have the Vatican City, and I mean, that's the Catholic Church. I don't know, but it's not that much real estate, like, you guys can be there, all right? And then we're going to let this thing start to play out. What's this going to be like? We're going to have rules that have merit. And so we're just encapsulating what the Bible's call for is in the first place. It's a church-based system, a Bible-based system. So the freaking loons that are talking about wearing masks, they wouldn't, if they're in, I mean, they're going to have already accepted my kingship in the first place. But then we're going to be sitting around and, I'm just telling you what I was thinking about, that if somebody actually had a problem, I mean, it's hard. At the end of the day, I'm trusting God's leadership. No right-minded person can argue that. Donald Trump, who I like, or God. I mean, okay, no one in their right mind is going to pick Donald Trump. So I'm saying Bayder Rock, God's place here, but God did this. He had Samuel as the prophet. 1 Samuel 8. That's what my call is. That's what my call has been. I mean, the call to you all. And what that looks like. I feel my challenge to, is it awkward? Of course it is. I mean, but to advance into here, to put this into space, because into the air is how I call this, to get people thinking, like, well, come to think of it, he is a nice guy. I think he'll take care of me. I think of that, what's that movie, The Lion King, when Mufasa, isn't that his name, and he takes the little cubby up, and this is our land. You're inside the king's land here, San Diego. This is our beach or whatever. We're protected here. If you got coronavirus risk, we're going to take care of you. We're not going to discount it, but we're not going to make every damn person wear their coronavirus masks that leak out and do all the things that make no sense in the first place. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying is better. America has enjoyed a long run of being the best, but they're losing. It no longer is. I'm done. I'm simply fundamentally saying this does not work. Ravi Zacharias. I spent time today with Ravi Zacharias. I don't particularly like him. He's now dead. Okay, but he was talking. He's hard to. I don't know about the guy. I mean, I think I like him, I guess, but sometimes it's so confusing that I'm left confused. So I'm confused, therefore he's smart. Like that train of thought doesn't really work. You see. But he was saying something about with morality, like we have to, basically exactly to my point here of the American way. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I can't even say it, but I'm going to try. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want to be. Somehow, then that got around to saying, well, we have to make rules to protect that, but then we have to ignore morality. I can't even say it. And I thought I could listen to this but somehow here that's right, and I probably need to articulate it. I have to articulate that better. But America is so concerned about, come on, I want to get this right. God help me. Can we do this? We're so concerned about having freedom of religion. So I was like, okay, well, I'm free then to be a Christian. But we've then made that idea that anybody can do anything. So to keep everybody in the idea that we have freedom of religion, we have to stop Christianity from doing its thing. That's, I think, what he was kind of saying. So we're not free. Okay, you can't do what you're saying. You can't be free. It's a devil speak. We got tricked. We got tricked here. Rather, if you don't want to be in the church, okay, then we don't want you either. God loved Jacob. He didn't like Esau. I guess you're out. That makes sense. What do we do with the kiddies that are born in, and all these different things are going to happen? I don't know, but I'm trusting God. We're going to figure it out. And that I'm trusting myself to say, you know what? It's okay to call me Lord. This is good. See, these words we gotta work on this to get followers. And I don't mean followers that follow you on Facebook. I mean followers that when I say we're going to San Diego, we're going to San Diego. We're gonna go to San Diego. To be so inspired here to the depth of things. To know me so well that you find me trustworthy. I don't know how it's going to work out. I simply know that the system that we have now does not work. It does not work. Fundamentally, you cannot be a Christian and an American in the way that we do things. It's not there. It's just not there. We have votes that control a process, which means that we don't trust in God. Okay? You can't have both. You can't have a democracy and a theology at the same time. It doesn't work. The Amish had an idea of separating, and I'm saying that has some level of merit, except that in things like divorce and custody, the law of the land will throw out the church, so we're still left with this real problem where we ought to then say, we need, instead of praying, that's one of the things that sits here deep with this is Charles Stanley, that time that he got around and he got down, I guess I'd say I love the man. You know my hang-ups, I guess. I don't like Andy Stanley. He doesn't do Matthew 18. He doesn't rebuke hard. Okay? I don't know where to put that other than I want to note it. But I do respect his teaching, a lot of it. And when he got around to pray, the first time that I saw it, that really moved me. Like, right, this guy who is authoritative is still bending the knee to Jesus. That was my thought. But the more that I thought about it, the more upset that I became. Because look, it's not, he was calling the church to pray for our country and the problems that we had. He was doing it with prayer. And I'm out there on the sidelines saying, as King David, ready to fight Goliath, I'm the guy. I wrote an email to them and I said, don't send me back some kind of condescending email and either in or I'm out. And of course they don't respond. So I'm left dealing with this in my car in Chambersburg in a place I don't want to be. Okay. This is my story. This hopefully will be my song. My song. Talking to a friend today. We're children of God. There's a Bible verse about that. I could look it up. Something about he gave us the right to be called children of God. Maybe I'm going to take a minute and just do it and see if there's some power in this. Okay. Let's see, I think that's it. Gave the right. Let's see if right to be called sons of God. There it is. To be called sons of God. But to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Where that came from. Okay? Because as Lord, your Lord. Okay, lowercase Lord, the King here. Fine. That has to have a place. There has to be a person that Christianity can look to guide right and wrong. John Piper does not know, okay? God loved the man, but he does not know what he's saying in these areas. I think at the end of the day, he still caves into not wanting to confront the remarried people in his church. I think that's part of it. He's got no balls, all right? I'm living it, so I'm experienced in it too. He's not experienced. Two problems there. But shame on him to write the perfect paper, a position paper on divorce and remarriage that nails it. I mean, God help us. But even that, we got to be clear. I got a UK friend. who quoted the verse. I'm like, no, that's not it. You got to read the thing. Well, unless he can just Google something and find 75 other bastard pastors that are telling him a bunch of lies. Lies that sting. Anyway. Okay, Lord, and I'm sensitive to the things here. Lowercase king, I want you to hear my heart. It's not a heart of the power problem. We say these things. Tommy Nelson, how old is he? 60? I don't know. At least I think he is, and he's probably in his 60s. He used that thing like we have this thing. Where is it? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Is that in the Bible? I mean, but we that's what people can think. People can think. No, we have history of good kings. What you don't want is a bad one. I'm a good one. I'm playing this game. Well, we'll come back to it. Let's try this again. So let's go down this path. We can be done. We don't have to be. I want to get this documented. I'm a little frustrated that it's not even more perfect, but I'm trading perfection for getting ideas out there so we can advance causes. I want space here for there to be this notion and idea that, like on CNN someday, they can come back and say, there he did it. Like back in 2020, there he is saying that he wanted to be the king. And so then when it's 2025 or 2027, they'll be like, well, you do have quite a history here of bitching about being the king. Right. I've been doing it from actually day one. What does that feel like? By then, there's going to be people that should be moving. Okay, we got to have the direction set. We got to have a Matthew 7, 24 and 25. A rock that can be trusted. Okay? That's what the Bible says. That's what I personally want to have. And I'm realizing that, surprise, we cannot do this in the structures that we were born into. We have to change. We don't have to. You're freely fine to go to hell. And wear your coronavirus mask. We're just not going to be doing it in Bayder Rock Nation in San Diego. And San Diego, Bayder Rock Nation, things are going to make sense. You might not like them, but they're going to make sense. And over time, you're going to start to see a power unseen. That's what I believe. On the authority of God, not on the authority of me. I'm just the guy that opens the dusty book called Holy and says, I'm going to let this lead. I'm going to let the big dog eat. I'm going to rule and govern to the best of my abilities. I think Trump does a good job, except that he didn't, somehow he missed it. I respect that the guy had been talking about president for, 20-some years? I don't know, quite a while. He did it, okay? And I think he does tell the truth. And I think he thinks the coronavirus mess is the dumbest thing ever. I think he really hurts over this. He does say right things. But he is president. He's the president, not the king. So he has to cooperate with the dummies. The coronavirus masks are dumb. I don't care. They're just dumb. They're dumb. That's just one example of how stupid we have because of the system. Because of the system. And Trump is stuck. He didn't do it right. He should have been like me and said, I'm going to wait to be king. We're going to change the rules before I put myself in a position of authority on top of a land that is sandy, like Matthew 7, 26 and 27. 24 and 25 is where the rock is at. Bayder frickin' Rock. Did I say? My name is Bayder Rock, and together we can change the world. We really can. We really can. God help us. Children, do you understand? Let's own this idea as we think now about the joy of what it's. Okay, so fine, I'm Lord, lowercase Lord. I want you to hear the heart of your pastor. I want you to hear the heart of your king. In some ways, I think in the transition of how we are in world cultism, where individual rights become this thing that became glorified, when really it's not the best. That's what I believe. So the idea of giving some other human lordship and control or these kind of things over our life is, I want to say, unholy. If you put holy into the idea of world cultism as a sacred thing, when it's not really wholly sacred, if you follow what I'm saying, it's a very deep violation of world cultism to give yourself to a lord, a lowercase lord. That's what I think. But it's okay. That's my job. Appointed by God, allowed by God, wherever this space fits. That's what we got to work out together. But to hear the heart of your king, to hear the heart of your pastor, to hear the heart of your Lord. Lowercase, I want to be clear. Okay. This is my story. This is my song, my testimony. I have one, okay? And so do you. Okay, this is the joy of being a child. This person that I basically loathe is a way to say it. So profoundly powerful, the role of this person I have in mind in my life. Okay, to the wrong, to the bastard side of Christianity. A lady. A 2-ton ship of a lady. Okay. Never one to mince words when it comes to the fatsos. But, okay, she said God doesn't have grandchildren. Okay, right. I mean, that's where I'm getting here. Listen, God doesn't have friends either. You don't go, you don't get to heaven because Bayder was your Lord, okay? Lowercase. And as a friend, that's what was in my mind where this came from. But it's all around this. I mean, he gave the right to become children of God. I think that deep into this, the idea of that 300 movie, I'm going to download that hopefully here if I can figure this out. The idea here is that these people are soldiers. Soldiers. I love their physique. Okay, you don't just wake up with this. I mean, I'm hoping that after 2 years I look like it. I think I'm getting there, but when I still am not totally satisfied. I mean, this is a discipline. This is really something to be that. But in the stories of what I imagine there, what this Vader Rock nation can look like, operate like, be like down deep, that you'll be calling me Lord, and that there will be a true respect. I'm the crazy guy that had the balls and did the work that it took to get it done. And however it might actually go. A need for a figurehead. But in God's eyes, we're just altogether children here. And then the power of the individual stories, where people can come in there, the CNNs of the world can come and interview people that are in Bayder Rock Nation. And there's no notion of any kind of negative thing like tyranny or dictatorship or this kind of stuff. All to Jesus I surrender, all to him I freely give. Okay? Same idea. That's Jesus. He's the capital L Lord. I'm the lowercase Lord here of Vader Rock Nation. But the same freedom, freely given, is done this. And then you listen to the people talk, and they have the eyes like I look now at you, and they're telling their own story. I'm a child of God here. I'm a child of God. Look at me with my 300 level physique and different things, or whatever might come. The 8 dimensions of wellness and the ways that it takes to do life right. The belt of truth. That's just can't go without saying here. I'm not proclaiming. I say words like Bayderism. I mean, that upset one of the guys that I had started a conversation with. I haven't. I'll reach out to him again. He's on my friends list, meaning I'm never going to stop being his friend. He's my friend. Whether he reciprocates, that's up to him. But I think this, again, is all into this idea. Well, how can you proclaim this? Well, we need words here. We need words here like Bayderism to say it distinctively. Are we done? Yeah. We'll go through some of the things that I try to do all the time. Critical text of concern, Hebrews 10:26-31, to knowingly do something wrong and to keep on doing it. To identify a sin and keep on doing it. There's no longer sacrifice for sins. To trample the spirit of grace. Vengeance is mine. God's not happy. Sounds like hell to me. Fire, okay? We got to be clear here. Definitely a Bayderism word. We got it. Like, I got to take the Bible and give it a whole category. Like, right here's the biblical truth. Digest this. That's the strength. The Bible is the strength. The belt of truth. You're not ultimately bending the knee to me. I don't know how even the imagery is going to work. Do we bend a knee to Bayder, Lord Bayder? I don't know. I know one thing, we're not prostrate fallen, okay? So I'm thinking about the angels prostrate fall. Catholic priests do this. The imagery there, no way are we doing that. Okay, I might take a knee. I might allow that. Not a prostrate. There's a distinction here. We need a king. We need a good king. We need to move this way. Who are the politicians? I mean, I even think of my one here. What does this feel like? Does it offend you to say that? Look, how can you possibly be a Christian and say that this makes sense when you really think about it? It doesn't. I mean, I'm declaring it, absolutely. You can't be a democracy and allow people to govern, okay? Is God your capital L Lord or not? When you're in a system that gives that authority to the people, that is democracy, and that is not biblical. It's just not. Fundamentally, God allowed it. What's it going to be like? To go back to 1 Samuel 8. What's it going to be like to have a church with Matthew 18 discipline? What's it going to be like? Okay, on the fun side, to put your toes into San Diego Beach. What's it going to be like to turn your grandbabies over to a church that wants to keep them whole and pure? To lead a nation, a Vader Rock nation that will grow to 32 million. Where at least you're going to know that, you know what? We at least told our kids and grandkids the goddamn truth. To keep them safe. To look at the evidence of 50% divorce and just own the fact that it ain't working. World cultism talks a game, but it is bullshit at the end. Take some adjustments. You got to have little sit downs. End up saying that Vader Rock, he is right. He is right. Why? Because he does say what the Bible says. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Am I sorry? I don't know. Not really. It's a clear call. I'm looking forward to it. Are you ready to take a step of lordship and a full surrender? Right there it is. And that's to the king. All gets kind of twisted up, and we just have a story to tell. A Bayder Rock nation story. Who's going to be the first? How are we going to get this done? Life goes on. We got a story. I'm stuck in Chambersburg. Maybe that'll change. God willing. God help that to change. We're praying, no, may I be a present day Joseph. Okay? A present day Joseph. In a pit. Put in a position of a lordship. What y'all intended for harm, God intended for good. To take a thing as fucked up as divorce and custody is presently and straighten this out. God, help here. Bring about a story that will be told for 1,000 years. And that's not my primary motivation. I am not, okay, a politician primarily. I'm a pastor with a heart of gold and a man after God's own heart. In Jesus' name, I fixed my mouse pad. Amen.